Welcome to 美脸破 I'm Jiashan Zhang, and this is my video essay for Karma 342 viral video. Bond stated that the procedure of producing reflective essay is actually acquiring knowledge from their own experience in practice. Dwight also supported this idea that he described reflection as a chance to get self-knowledge. Kennedy indicated that while writing a comparative essay, compare focus more on similarities and contrast should include the differences. In this video essay, the previous portfolios will be compared and contrasted reflectively, combining with the experiences and failures in practice. This video essay will be organized as follows. In first 3 parts, there will be a general reflection of the 3 videos separately, focusing on actual performances of the key criteria such as contiguous, general, and serious applied. Thirdly, the viral media life cycle will be analyzed, combining with the statistics from YouTube, following by the reflection on social media promotions and targeting of key influencers. Finally, a general reflection will be concluded, and the action points that need to develop in the future will also be proposed. So let's move into the first part. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development define formal learning in which focus on specific objects, as well structured and organized with deliberate targets of illustrating the topic. Considering the test sheet of Media and Gate clarified our audiences are first-year students of Communication and Media Studies, and the topic Spiral of Silence that has selected was also tend to be academic, I decided to design it as a formal educational video. However, Guo et al. Pointed that formal video is less engaging, so I tried to satisfy other elements they proposed that an engaging video might include it: fast-paced speech, short duration, and the talking ahead narrative pattern, which one I actually failed. As we were requested to include pencasting in a specific video, after several days and reviewing it, I felt it might be not engaging enough as I designed it as lecture notes. I indeed find its advantages, such as clear and easy to conclude the points, but I'm still afraid of the demonstrating process might be too monotonous. To be more like one-to-one conversation, I now prefer to take the pencasting as a draft paper that are not pre-organized and simply write down some keywords following the pace of speech. Besides, according to Berger, another contiguous principle is story. I would understand it as a specific example in this particular situation. When I reviewed the video, I felt it was vague and general, and I finally noticed that I didn't include an impressive example to help the audiences develop in-depth understanding of the theory. Generally, this video has achievements in its clear aim and genre, specific target audiences, and precise learning objects. However, throughout the reviewing, the contiguous criteria is not satisfying. According to Gregory, video advocacy that can be deployed as strategically and effectively as more traditional forms of advocacy, referring to the range of ways to exert pressure for a defined goal of change, including persuasion, relationship building, lobbying, organizing, and mobilizing. Trainer also illustrated the relationship between ties and risks in digital activism metrics. Initially, I want the topic to be strong persuasive and do not want to take that much risks. Besides, our target audiences are between 16 and 25. And I thought a topic that close to young people's life is essential to advocate for the activism. Berger also supported this idea that the social currency is a significant principle of contiguous. And I noticed that an example he proposed that majority of people prefer to look like smart, from which I got the idea of fast fashion and its term. Throughout revealing portfolios, I feel that this was the most engaging one. Fast fashion is welcomed by young people mainly because its cheap price, diverse choices, and pursuit of fashion. In this sense, this topic was contiguous. Besides, as I designed genre as short documentary, the speech pace was fast, and my peer William, who viewed this video, told me that fast pace actually led him thinking about the issue effectively. There are still some factors I found not engaging enough after discussing with my colleagues. One is that the visual images, especially in the parts of demonstrate the statistics of pollution and call on actions, tend to be monotonous. The portfolio could have been more impressive and persuasive if the visual images closely related to the information I gave. For instance, using the photos of contaminated land or water-deficient area to attract audience attention to the harm, and performing the actions instead of simply speaking towards the camera. I also reflected on the genre itself and found that documentary was not that suitable for the short video within 3 minutes, because when I reviewed it, I found things, for instance, the cause of these pollutions and relationships between fast fashion fashion and the health of laborers, especially in the developing country, were not efficiently illustrated in the video, mainly because of time limits. I suppose that the fictional genre in which tells a relevant story might be more contiguous. Additionally, I found a significant problem that I ignored a key principle that we were asked not to do. I used a thread of logos as an introduction trying to connect the audiences to the topic without permissions, which literally increased the risk due to its trigger of potential negative influence. Different from the fast pace of previous two videos, I chose the comparatively slow pace in travel vlog, trying to create a relaxed atmosphere. I noticed that the majority of my colleagues' destination was in Europe, while the competitiveness might be potentially increased, as the Oriental culture and visual style of my portfolio tend to be distinctive. However, I'm not satisfied with part of since those were chaos when I saw it afterwards. Also, I figured out another failure in Contiguous was that I used too much voiceover instead of present directly in the vlog. I actually realized this point in shooting, but there were so many tourists that hard to hear my voice. The microphone was not used because the original soundtracks such as Villager's voice of reciting and the tourist's voice of singing were expected to keep in order to demonstrate the local culture comprehensively. Besides, throughout all the clips of my own presentation, I realized that I was not proficient in acting naturally towards the camera. Additionally, I'm afraid that the commercial genre was not fully illustrated as well because I only present a brief call on action, and the address as well as other information was provided at the end of the video through subtitle. My friend William also suggested that I should mention the information at the very beginning. Overall, neither the contiguous characteristics nor the genre were not effectively demonstrated in this video. The analytics provided by the YouTube suggested that the travel vlog attracted most viewing with a number of 70 and obtained the longest average view duration of 56 seconds as well, following by the Media and Society video with 53 views and 50 seconds average duration. Due to the difficulty of access on YouTube, the educational video actually uploaded later than those two, which potentially lead to less view and engagements. However, the shortest average duration was convincible that the education video apparently lacked of engaging comparing to the others. Besides, as I mentioned before that the one of Media and Society was considered as the most contiguous, the result shows that the prediction was wrong. There were basically two rounds of promotion with an interval more than 48 hours, but both the real-time view and the overall view had apparent disparities. I talked with one of my friends who left comments to me with the name Tom, and she said our promotion procedure actually was in assessment weeks. So comparing to the academic educational video and the serious digital activism, she would prefer to see something relaxed like travel vlogs. Moreover, I figured out that the life cycle of viral media on YouTube is somehow related to the life cycle of social media that I used to promote on. For instance, the life cycle of WeChat is usually less than 24 hours. Here is a screenshot of some engagements with moments I posted on WeChat, and generally, it almost no more engagements after 12 hours. When I finished the first round of promotion in about 20 hours, I noticed that the likes of the two videos were both 7, and the numbers had no change until I promoted on social media again. The two rounds of promotions were basically through WeChat and Instagram. YouTube suggested my main audiences will access the video by the external links on WeChat. The main reason might be the majority of my followers on Instagram were actually covered in my WeChat friend list. The promotion generally is not successful. At the beginning, I defined my key influencers with the following characteristics: young people between 16 to 25, fluency in English, living in an area that are able to access to YouTube.